Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to give you a little heads up before this video starts. This is a call I did with my mom in a small group. I've been getting a lot of good feedback, so I wanted to move this over to YouTube. So if you like this, please let us know, like, comment, subscribe, and anything that she talks about in the video, I'm going to put in the description below. All right, take it easy. My mom. The plan for this is to help my mother with KDP. Just starting completely over from scratch with somebody building up an account will help me better see how I should be teaching this and or helping people with KDP. Most of KDP was done by the team, so I don't have a ton of experience going through this, so it was a refresher for me, and at the same time helping my mother along with whoever else wanted to be a part of this journey. What's going to happen is the first probably week or two is going to just be like plotting the course and figuring out how to actually make all this stuff work, setting up goals, working backwards from those goals, and then just like the process to go through this. I sent you Nathaniel's cover creator course. You've been creating covers. I guess I just asked you right here. Has it been easy or hard or?
It was a little tricky at first, but I think I have to work into going looking at the video over and over again at certain points, stopping it and watching it. I think I feel comfortable with using it.
What was like the most difficult thing? Was just learning a new program? Like the program itself is not that hard to use,
No,
correct?
not at all.
But just like understanding the tool and like
Right.
seeing everything was probably the hardest part.
And like where to click and how to click. I'm just like not that great on the computer, so it was
Yeah,
a
I
little
guess that
tricky.
was eye-opening experience for me. And I think it's this is gonna be rough for me, just due to everything else that we have going on this month and me just being like completely fried. Um, just going at a slower pace and making sure like when just even resizing the
Yeah,
the pages,
I didn't even know how to
I
resize
was
the
like,
pages.
this is
I
gonna
was like, how
be
do you put the page next to each other? Like, I don't know.
which is good for us because there's probably a lot of people that we are helping that are in the same boat as you. And me and Nathaniel are just like,
You're way ahead
yeah,
of
yeah,
me
yeah.
with the computer clicking. Da 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 da.
And we're
It's
not
like,
even
where did he
thinking
click
about
on
that.
that?
Like I'm trying to think ahead, so I'm just trying to get this information as quick as possible. But there's probably, like we say a lot of times when we're teaching, when we're explaining something to somebody, we've been doing it for so long that I'm sure there's just parts where we're just skipping over. Like you were trying to set the line up. How did Dana set the line using the square? And Spark changed that. So
Yeah.
I came up with a solution real quick, but I was like, I don't know what to tell you other than just don't do that because it's going to be too difficult to keep trying to learn new things when you're learning the whole program itself. Like once you get used to the program, I think you'll be able to figure out that and problem
Right.
solve inside that program. But in the beginning, it's just like,
Yeah, because I was trying to follow it step by step by step. And I don't have all that other ideas to go around all the different steps. I just was following the steps. But I mean, after you figure that out, for me, after I figure that out, then I can figure out my own way to do it or whatever.
yeah, problem solving within the tool.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to teach like abstract. Like I think we say we know the tool is going to change, but we don't know how. So like when we're showing things, we're going to have to, I guess, just assume and teach off of an assumption. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because even downloading the stuff like that changed so much that Nathaniel's suggestion on how to do it, I think, should have been like the real way you want to do it is download this PDF, and then he should have walked through that process and showed why it didn't work at the time. I think that might have helped you. And then say, if this does work, then you don't have to do this
all
next
these
thing.
other steps. Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, then you have another backup solution. Because I think that's what he did. He showed a solution to a possible problem, but just by downloading that PDF. And I don't know, I guess we still have to do it to see if that even works. But I think downloading the PDF and uploading the PDF as far as the cover is concerned is the easiest way to do that.
Okay.
So we have some goals written down. And this is like we're just starting from the very beginning. My mother has some basic Spark skills. You've been doing that for a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, has signed into her KDP account once,
Yeah,
twice.
I got it figured out how to sign it up and got my bank statement and all that stuff in there.
Oh, you did do all that
Actually did
stuff?
all that, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it took a few minutes, but I figured it out.
So if somebody has a problem, could they ask you?
Sure.
Okay. Because I don't remember that at all, and I'm sure that's changed a little bit. So if you do not have a KDP account, um, I guess just put your question here, and then if I can't answer it, I'll ask my mom, and then she can kind of walk us through that process. But
If you're really slow, I know how to do it.
yeah, I don't think it's that difficult of a process, right? You just need
No,
the
it's just,
information.
you probably have done that a million times, signed up for an account. I'm like, okay, I don't really do too much on the computer, so here we go.
Another unique position that we are currently in is I am doing a lot, and I don't have the time to help my mother. So it's like I just have to. Sunday is really the only day that I'm able to like give her anything. That's why I was like, let's just do this in the inner circle, so at least I can maybe try to kill two birds with one stone. I wanted to come in here and do a challenge each day, and I think this will be a good challenge that we can continue on with. I think it's going to take a while to get you where I want in KDP. So just setting a very realistic goal, like $100 a month. I don't think that's impossible. I think it's probably going to be a lot of learning along the way, but I think once you get that $100 a month, to go to the next level should not be that difficult,
Okay.
because then you'll know,
Yeah.
like, I know how to make the internals, I know how to make the cover, I know how to make a book. I make X amount of books and I'm converting at this rate. So if I make 10 books and I can get one to sell each month, then I know I got to make 100 to make 10
Okay.
bucks sell. It's not a great system, but it's a start. And then once you kind of learn that, then you go, okay, now I can increase my conversions by doing XYZ,
Right.
making coloring books, making
It's gonna
whatever
be
other style of
faster
books.
once I get that.
Yeah. So I guess just helping you build a process and getting you to $100 a month. But I think number one goal this week is like getting a book up.
Yes, that would be cool.
Right now, I have like um, a solution to the internals. AJ actually made a journal program that we
Oh,
were using
wow.
from before, and I
Great.
want you to use that, and I want to open it up to this group. But right now, it's living on a rented server, and we have like limited space on that server, so I don't want to overtax somebody else's. It's a computer set up in somebody's house, and I don't want
Okay.
to overtax that system
Yeah.
because they're using it for a bunch of other things. They use it as like a testing facility, so if they want to put something up on the internet, they can house it in this person's AJ's friend's house. So I don't want to like overtax that system. So I don't necessarily want to open up to everybody just quite yet until we have a solution, and then we can move that to a different server. But I think I'll have you use it and then try to come up with some solution to help the group with internals, at least for the next like week or two. I think after that, we should be able to move that program over. Um, in theory, time will tell how any of this stuff works out. But the journal program that is set up right now, because I broke it, I can only do 8.5 by 11s, and I've been teaching you how
Oh,
to
6
do,
by 9s.
which is not that difficult. You just have to set things up differently in Spark.
Yeah.
So tomorrow or Friday, we'll figure out like the actual logistics of what we're doing.
Okay.
But today, just like setting up goals and then try to work through those goals, and then my brain not fully being energized, just like writing down some steps so that we can start accomplishing some of these things. So I guess going back to your list that we wrote for you, I'm trying to remember what our goal was for this week. I think I just had you making
Just
more covers.
practice making the covers, practicing in Spark program, and then I guess the goal was to get a
One
book
listing.
up.
Okay.
So I don't. That seems right
Plenty of
now.
time.
That doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But
Well, you
okay.
you have the account, right?
I got the account.
Yeah.
And
you
I'm
know how to make the covers.
I feel comfortable.
It's like 85% of the way.
in there.
We're good.
Really?
We're good.
Okay. I don't know.
Let me share my screen, I guess, and just have a doc open. I should probably
Oh
introduce
no! I
you.
was. Oh, go ahead.
This is my mom, Cecilia. She's the woman that birthed me. she's staying with us now. She was in California helping her sister. Now she's staying with us. I'm not quite sure what your master plan is. I don't know if you even know.
No, I don't.
My goal is just to help her make some extra money each month so she can continue to do whatever she wants to do. She wants to go up and see my sister in Michigan because she has a new child. Is that the proper way to say that? That's not the right way to say
No, she has a new child.
that.
I have a new grandbaby.
Yeah. So she has two grandbabies in Michigan. She has a sister that needs some help in California, and she always likes to travel, go to New Hampshire and all over the place. I don't know if I'm be able to do that in like a month, but in future I want to be able to give my mom something and run a POD business, like a actual business where she has either VAs or taps into our VA team and just can like have her own part of this business. I don't know if books is the only thing that's going to get her there, but I think it's a good start because I know you love books. If I go into your room, it's like a library.
Yeah.
Every time we bought books, you were trying to save all the books. And I was just like, wow, we got a million books. We can't do this. So I think KDP is a good start for you and just a lot of people. I think merch is probably easier, but because of all the limitations, it just makes it hard to teach and be consistent and like know what's working and know what's not working. If you can only put up 10 listings and it's taking you a while to make the listings and do the art, like it's just you're gonna have to wait a month to figure out what should I do next. And making 10 listings and then waiting a month is not ideal.
Okay.
So at least with KDP, once you kind of figure it out, you can just keep, even if it's a book a day that you want to start, like you can just do that for a month and then have 30 listings and then see what's working, what's not working. I was having you look at the results pages and just kind of seeing like what's there and what's working. And then you were asking me questions about the BSRs and all that. And I was just like,
yeah,
I don't have great answers for you right now, but I think my, I guess for goal for me, I should have you typing. That's really what the problem should be. My goal for Steven is to help you build a system. Oops. And then
to have some income, right?
well, to
I
I
mean,
just
that's
like
the
start
ultimate.
like
Oh,
let's
okay.
have a ultimately like be
Yeah.
able to live off of it, but that's not gonna happen. I think for
Well, not to live off of it, but to have some extra income.
$100 a month, I feel like is a realistic goal.
Right.
And then I think
That's a
this
good
journey
start.
to 100 will be very interesting because I'm sure there's going to be a ton of problems that we run into, and just being able to problem solve that stuff. So
Okay.
just like you were having problems with Spark and just like the making a spine on the book, and then it was just like us sitting down and like problem solving that for an hour. I think that's what I want this
Okay.
time to be. So when you have ultimately what I want this time to be is just like you have questions, either Susan if she's following along, whoever else is following along, just to like just make this time about answering questions with these goals in mind. So if you're
All
asking
right.
me like how do I do this very specific, like make the edge of the book, what spine of the book,
Yeah, the spine.
how do I make a spine of the
The
book
color.
a different color so it
Yeah.
stands out? Like that, I don't think is as important of just like let's get the book up first
Right.
and then come back to that instead
Well,
of like
that's
answering
because
that question
yeah.
exactly
Well, that's because it was in
in
the
the video.
video, and I was trying to follow step by step, but then had a problem with the exact way Nathaniel was doing it. So then I didn't know how to. What was it? Like I didn't even think, oh, just leave it out or whatever. Like I'm not that as good a problem solver as you are.
I think it's just when something new like that, like it takes a lot of mental processing power just to like comprehend what's going on. And I think for you, kind of like us, we like to do the thing in order to have understanding of what to do.
Yeah,
So
and
I
I
think
like
in
to
the computer is like, yeah, and
first.
you, I think, need to know way more than us. There's a certain point where we're just like, it doesn't matter, let's get it done.
Right.
And you are like,
No,
I need to know,
why?
yeah,
Yeah.
like a child mother.
Oh, well. That's how my brain works.
So I just want to show you this, and then I'll show it to them. This is like 3 different styles of book. What is it called?
Spine.
Book spines. This is
Like
the
it.
single color. You know more than me. I don't know nothing about books other than just how to sell them. The spine is a completely different color than the book. And this one has like different colors on it, and then you can see the spine of the book. It's not like
It's a
full.
little right.
So I think even when you're creating, like don't be so focused of like, oh, I have to get to this edge, because you see it's just like a different style. This one just has a sliver, and the book is actually a lot thicker
Right.
than this. And then this one has no,
It's all white.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
just showing this. This is a white book. The spine is white. It has
the
the
type is
lettering
on there.
on
Yeah.
it still. So I think this is just a like a higher quality book look. But on Amazon, people will never see this, so it's kind of a mute, mute,
Mute point.
mute
Except
point.
if they get it and they, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
Most
They were
journals and
expecting
stuff
it
like
to
that
be
that are
like that.
smaller don't normally have.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that a small journal would have it.
I
I was
don't have any
surprised
journals
this
up
book,
there.
that this book is probably close to the size of a journal, I guess. I don't even know.
Well, I'm not sure how many pages this is. This is over 120, probably 150 pages. This book, what I showed was the grayish color and
With
then a
the,
green spine that
yeah,
like
different
is
color spine.
exactly the width of the book. But I know lining this up sometimes can be difficult inside Spark.
Yeah, that's what I saw was different too once it went switched over to Spark.
Yeah, and I'll show this one too. But and then this cover has the thin line, but it's way smaller. So just stylings of the book and just like when you're in that program, it doesn't have to be perfect. There are a lot of different book covers that have different styles on it, and if you do want to make an additional color for your spine, don't over stress about it and make sure that it's like the perfect thing. Just like as long as it's there, it'll
Right.
stand out, it'll get the job done. There's 3 different books on my shelf. I'm sure there's a million different books that do it differently. And then my solution for how I thought you should do it is slightly different than this, but the same kind of concept. This is a white cover with a black back, and then just wrapped the front all the way over to the side. I was saying for the back, for inside that Spark program, if she could just make the one side of the cover, yeah, this is a book cover.
Yeah,
One side of the
different
cover,
color.
one solid color instead of trying to line up that spine because it's hard to do with that template being in there. And then as soon as you take the template out, like there's always things that you're trying to move and then you sometimes move it. It just gets difficult. So just making it like one solid color, I think was the best.
Or yeah, or I did the whole cover one thing
solid color.
and then just took the background out of the type, or just eliminated that altogether.
Yeah, just took the whole
Took the type out altogether. That was the easiest, of course. But it's not. It depends on the thickness of your journal or whatever your book, whatever. So, like you said, it's probably not as important to the customer as I was thinking it was.
I guess that was the point of me trying to show those book covers is the cover is important, but it's the full complete picture of the cover, not like every minute detail on there. And because we're doing print on demand through KDP and we can make 100 of the same book, like small tweaks like that, you can just go, oh, I don't know if a customer wants A or B, do them both. Like that camping journal that you had that like had we pushed the title and your name too far apart, like just put that book up and leave it and then adjust it and then make another book. That way you have 2 books up on Amazon, because maybe the customer likes it that it's like super way thin down there. They just say like for the printing, be careful. You worked at a printing,
right. Well, that helps too.
I forgot that you even did that. Maybe we could ask you some questions about
the
that.
binding and the cover and the cutting and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you know way more than this. But
Well, I
just,
know not to put it too close to the edge because things
it'll
happen.
get shifted over. So it's just like a safety net. But if the customer really likes that and they don't care that it might get chopped thin, but they really want the picture, they don't care about your name on the journal, that might be something that sells better. It's always fascinating to me for the stuff that we put up that I assume is going to sell well that doesn't, and then stuff that I'm like, this is never going to sell, and then it sells. So it's like I don't have the answer, and I guess that's what I'm really trying to get across is like I don't have the answer other than just like be consistent and build a system is the only way to succeed in this business. Because if you go, I made the perfect shirt, this is gonna make me $1 million, or I made the perfect book, this is it, I'm gonna retire off of this, like it's probably not gonna happen. Like you might hit some home runs, but like singles are gonna get you where you want to go. I should almost have Darren on here too, just talk about like the mindset of making books and the amount that you're actually going to be selling. I think in POD is the same thing. Like you're really just working off of consistency and a system, because if you can crank out 100 books every week, You just know that there's a
Somebody
certain
might pick
percentage of
one,
those
yeah.
that are going to sell. If you can get 1,000 books, then you should have a higher chance. There are some people that really understand the book market and take a lot of time and do the keywords and everything up front, and they can have like 300 books and make $1,000 a month off of those 300 books. But it's just a give and take. And I think in the beginning, it's just better to more. And then once you kind of have a better understanding, because it's so easy just to make variations of those books.
Right.
I wouldn't say, okay, man, now you need that camping one. You need now a gardening one. You need now a Christian one. Now that's 3. Now we need 97 more of these. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. You need 97 more of these ideas to make 100 books a week. It's just like, do you have the camping one?
Make
How many
variations.
how many times can we stretch this? Can we stretch this? I think at least 10 times is pretty easy. Plus, it's not a camping journal. Maybe it's a nighttime journal or just a different title for that book, and use the same exact image. Like there's different ways of making variations. The cover art can change and the cover title can change. So it's like you can make 10 to 20 books out of one idea.
Okay.
So you only need like 10 or 5 or 10 ideas each week, and then just like make a whole bunch of those.
Well, that seems like to me the easier part is making the variations than coming up with the idea that what somebody's going to want to buy.
Yeah, it's funny because that I feel the complete opposite way. Like I making the variations and everything is like so. It's just harder for me because I'm not artistic.
Oh, see, that's more. It was actually fun to do the covers, but coming up with the ideas was like, okay.
So at least if you know that in your business, hiring a VA to like find what we call landing zones for you, and you can tap into our art team, but I just want to like open this up to everybody. If that's the part of the business that you like, having somebody to provide you with the information that you need is not that difficult and not very expensive. I mean, I guess I can say that with a grain of salt because it can be very expensive, but there are tricks to make it not so expensive. But getting the keywords and the titles, I think you just finding a process so that when you do get landing zones and keywords, like for you to use them, and it probably won't be optimized in the beginning, but you'll just like get better at it. As soon as books start selling, I think that's when it gets easier.
Okay.
Right now, you say like making one book seems like a mountain.
Yeah,
Like it's
to get one on live,
yeah.
that sounds...
Only because I've done it so many times. Like it's just like that's like a non-issue to me. But I think
okay.
just like Spark, anytime you do something for the first time, it seems like so overwhelming.
Right.
Now, if I ask you to make a book cover,
right, I feel like I understand it enough to make a cover. I mean, as always, you can improve on it, but I think I could do that.